My topic is on advancing groundwater recharge through nature-based solutions. So it is a systematic reviews of opportunities and the challenges which we can do. So right now here in this when we see talk about floods and all kinds of disasters, so the main thing which we are talking about is the groundwater infiltration is being hindered from day by day. So that is the main topic, that how we can enhance the groundwater potential through natural discharge and nature-based solutions. So here I have done the kind of a Prisma methodology in which we have done the initial search of number of articles around 125. So there was the articles identified through keywords on the Scopus database. Then again we have done the first screening, which was around number of articles of 95. So they were screened on the basis of peer reviews journals articles only. And then again the final screening was done based on the selected peer publications here from last 10 years, 2024 to 25. So these are some of the thematic clusters which we have got regarding the our studies. So there are the number of papers in the thematic clusters, and the maximum numbers of papers got based on the thematic cluster of groundwater recharge and managed aquifers recharge managements. And apart from that, green infrastructure and urban NBS were there, and soil erosion and bioengineering. So when we talk about the bibliometric analysis, we can see that the number of articles has been increased as far as the publication is being increased from year 2016 to 2024, I guess. So the number of count of the article has reduced from 4 up to 16 in this overall period of time. And the citations also is being in a kind of a mixed kind of a trend. They are little bit increasing from 2016 to 18, then again increasing a bit to 22, and then 24 the graph is again going up, and right now to 25 again we are going to have other data included. So when we talk about the NBS solutions, so they are the kind of solutions that we have to implement on the real ground basis. So these are some of the solutions which we have found out from the literature review which we have done. So here we can see that the nature-based solution for groundwater recharge, there are some of the major solutions which we have got, likewise the MAR for the basins, green-grey optimization mix, bioengineered slope stabilization, riparian buffer restoration, peak buffer groundwater governance, and peri-urban agroforestries. So these are some of the case studies which we have got, and they are the types of NBS that have been included in real situation all over the case studies. Likewise, the MARs have been included in Indus Basin, Pakistan, and they had a rise of 1.2, 1.8 meters water level table rise. And again, and the green-green optimization mix talks about the green roofs and the kind of permeable roofs which we can implement, and it is getting a plus 25% chlorine and plus 18% recharge overall.
Okay. Just a question.
Yeah.
That for this permeable roof, will that not affect the slab or the integrity of the structure?
So there again we are using a kind of a solution. Likewise, we were talking about the permeable concretes or the types of structure which we have. So they are a kind of concrete which incorporates all those permeability, and apart from that, the specific green roofs which we use there in the places where we have the more of the rainfall pattern. So there they have a mesh kind of a structure through bamboos, and there they have an embedded soil up the top of a layer. So as soon as the rain gets absorbed into that bed of the soil, they get oozed out time to time and get collected in a rainwater harvesting pits over the places whichever has been installed over the place.
And what happens when it is saturated? Like when it completely filled up with water.
So then it's
runoff.
Then it's getting a high time of the runoff. Then it starts the oozing out of the total water content, and the time to time it gets cleaned up basically. So these are some of the natural solutions. Likewise, the soil moisture retention is there. Natural wetlands can be made. Likewise, along the some of the more of the papers I was seeing, so they have also implemented the same solution. Likewise, the bioswales I was talking about. Bioswales, rain garden is also a kind of a concept in which we stabilize the slope accordingly through the area of the place and the slope over there, and how we can just collect all over the dripping water through a single channel over a place, and then we can use it as a surface of water either we can percolate it down into this groundwater type.
Here I was reading in this paper the filter drains also.
Yeah, filter drains is also a kind of NVS solution which they have used. So they have used it along the highway path which we were talking about. So in any kind of a place where we have a kind of a flooding, not on a very specific highway but along the fields alongside the highway. So there we can use that filter path kind of a solutions. And then again we have the riparian buffer streams. These buffer streams are basically the vegetative streams which we likewise plant along a kind of a water body. So whenever we have a large amount of vegetation along a water body, the chances of inundation of that water into the urban areas gets very less, because whole of the water is utilized by that vegetative index which we have around. So likewise here we can see that we have a water stream flowing over here. We have the vegetative settlements over here, and this 2 vegetative index is protecting all those settlements from the water body. So this can be used in the case of ponds or either the lakes, in which we can the rainfall or either the perennial pattern of the river increases the rise of the water. And apart from that, green buildings are also a kind of a concept in which we can use the green top of the layer, as we were talking about at the green grey mix optimization. And some of the dry toilets means that dry toilet don't use the water, basically they use a kind of a means whatever the fecal matter is there, that is just used as a kind of a manure, and that doesn't require any kind of a water. That was back again used in Europe also.
Okay, but how do this affect the groundwater recharge, like the dry toilets particularly?
Yeah. So that will affect the groundwater recharge in a kind of a way, because whenever we have a kind of a situation where we don't have a water, okay, so there we can implement this dry toilets kind of a thing, because this again helps in the porosity of the soil, means as the time, because some of the soils are that kind of a situation that needs the porosity or the kind of a permeability is decreases down a bit over a period of a time. So as soon as I'm not saying over a very large extent of area, but even if we are implementing this over a small extent of area, that will affect the permeability of the soil through that mixing manure kind of a procedure.
But don't you think अगर मैं ऐसे रिसाइकिल करूँ वाटर को,
Right.
सपोज किचन का या जो थोड़ा यूज़ किया जा सकता है, रिसाइकिल किया जा सकता है, वो अगर मैं टॉयलेट्स में यूज़ करूँ,
Exactly.
क्योंकि
That-
पानी तो यूज़ हर जगह होगा.
Yeah, that we can surely do that. So
Okay.
that is also a very good concept which we can use in a kind of a situation like this. And this is a kind of a review which I have done. Again, when we talk about the stakeholder strategies in this place, so we can just co-design some of the workshops, and benefit stacking can be done, that how can community resilience can be overwhelmed by this situation. And some of the policy loops are again there through the when we talk about the government agencies, that what are kind of overloops and the holes are there, which we can just look upon and try to find the solution for the same. And when we talk about the micro grants, some of the grants and the fundings which we can arrange for a small area of extent, that can be implemented over a time. And shared monitoring of the ideas can also be done through people. And some of the opportunity and challenges are there, means opportunity as surely that adds more of the recharge. This is supported by SDGs. Cheap tools to check and monitors are available, and mix of public and private money, and people like and use the green spaces basically. So that is a very good solution, that whenever we try to implement kind of an NVS over a place, people tend to use it. That is because it is going to be a trend. And but again, some of the challenges are there, because that works only on the some places, likewise you were telling. So that is again a challenge, and risk of water pollution is there, and what is not always available at a time, means even if you built a rainwater park, so that is again not a very kind of a situation that will help you in each kind of a geographic situation. So that is a problem. And again, this again needs a regular cleaning and care, that is for sure. So these are some of the challenges.
You have done a very good research, but just one question I would ask, that on paper it is very good, but you know that implementation part in India is very difficult.
Very difficult.
So how do you suggest to implement this on a ground
so
level?
This we are doing generally for tier 2 cities, because tier 1 cities the chances of implementation of these kinds of a situation becomes a bit difficult due to authoritative reasons or something like that. But when we have a kind of a developing cities or the tier 2 or tier 3 cities, we again have a caliber to incorporate all these methods, and again we are doing a kind of a comparative studies for 10 of the different tier 2 cities in the Indias, that incorporates many of the Banaras, Lucknow and all those cities, and from there we are going to shortlist all those aspects which we can just cover it up through all of those bucket of the list. So we will just tend it down to major of the 10 to 5 solution, and then we can try to make a proposal, a kind of a thing, and tend to send to that government authorities, and also that they can look upon that, and if they want to have a kind of a measure, then they can surely contact us.
So have you tried it on a small scale? Like
yeah. I was working with the Gorakhpur Development Authority for a couple of months. So there I made a proposal on the basis of that. So that was not actually an NBS, but some of the part of NBS like was rainwater and filtration strips and all, they were using that in a kind of a Harit Patti kind of a thing. So they have made a project and they are just implementing it down wherever they can make it possible. So this was my message, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.